Ja, herzlich willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe SI Talk. Ich bin in München auf einer Rohstoffkonferenz jetzt Ende November. Das findet hier, glaube ich, zum ersten oder zum zweiten Mal statt. Ian Stalker ist neben mir, LSC Lithium. Wir kennen ihn, wir haben ein Interview gemacht auf der PDEC. We have an interview on the PDEC.
Yes, we did.
So that's PDEC now 7 months ago, 8 months ago?
7-8 months, yes.
So what's happened with the company in the last 7-8 months?
A considerable amount in actual fact. Since we spoke, we have now got 3 resources out on 3 different salars. Mm-hmm. And whereas I was very proudly at PDAC telling you that we had the largest land package, and that gave us quite a lot of flexibility and a lot of influence because we had so many hectares under our control. We now have a very large package of lithium carbonate in the salar itself. In fact, it's one of the biggest out there in Argentina, and for that matter, anywhere in the world, whether it's spodumene or whether it's brine. So we've moved considerably. We have approximately 1.3, and I'll just give rough numbers, and I'll combine measured and indicated with inferred, which everyone should know you separate at the right time. But it's 1.3 million tonnes in a place called Pastos Grande. In Pozuelos, next door to it, which is combined for our project, which is called PPG, Pastos Grande and Pozuelos. We currently have 1.7, but a new resource is coming out in that next week, and I know there's going to be a significant increase in it. We have 2.2 million tonnes at Rio Grande. So combined at the moment, that gives us 5.2. But with the growth in Pozuelos and Salinas Grande coming in the early part of 2019, we're going to be somewhere, I think, and I hope and believe, around about 6.5 to 7 million tonnes, and that is massive. Over and above just growing the resources, and these are quality resources, by the way, quality in terms of grade and chemistry, but over and above that, we've been working very hard to produce our first economic study. So that's an independent engineering group that's come along from Chile and Santiago. We used that group because of their experience within the salars in terms of how things operate and how you build and how you work in that altitude. We have completed our first study that defines independently, not us, not the owners, because we are obviously biased, but it independently defines the cost per tonne, the production rate, the capital cost that's expected, and gives us a return on investment, an IRR or an NPV, depending the way you want to look at it. And I can tell yourself and those listening to this video that in actual fact those numbers are extremely, extremely good, and they'll be out also probably the middle of next week. So I kind of know what they are, but I can't say too much about them, only to encourage people, have a look next week and just see what they are.
Okay, does mean the next week or the next 2 weeks are very important for the company?
Very much so.
So I think next time we will meet us on the PDEC, can talk a little bit, going deeper in them. So, but after this, numbers will coming up the next 2 weeks. What we can expect? What are the direction what the company will move?
That's a very good question. We continue with our work because the project delivery that will come out next week or the week after will tell us that we should be making, and this is just rough numbers, but they're pretty close, 20,000 tonnes a year by 2021. We can only achieve that by continuing our work to ensure that we define with more accuracy the level of work that has to be done before we start construction. That will continue in Pastos and Pozuelos through 2019. We also have that second salar known as Salinas Grande, which is one of the biggest salars, and the reason we like it and everyone likes it is because it's the highest grade in Argentina. It runs somewhere around 800 to 900 ppm. That's in the public domain from the results we put out there. And that grade and the chemistry that goes with it, the magnesium levels and the potassium levels, for example, means it becomes an extremely attractive from a processing point of view, but extremely economically beneficial from a cost point of view. So sometime next year, probably the end of the first quarter, there'll be a second study coming out of that. And what that will tell the market and tell investors and people interested in us is that we have a pipeline of projects that is growing in terms of production opportunity. Remember I said 20,000 from Pastos and Pozuelos. the potential from Salinas Grande could be another 50% of that, somewhere around there. So we have a growing production level at the right time when the market is saying the real shortage of lithium will probably start hitting us in about 2021, because the demand for lithium is growing all the time, and that's growing faster than what companies can actually deliver it at.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point about this supply-demand issue from lithium. But before, you say with your project you can start the first production 2020-21.
Yes.
How much you must invest and what you need on permitting and so on that you can go forward with that?
It's an excellent idea, excellent question, and it's the right question. The capital will be in that study that will come out a week's time. It's at the lower end of capital projections in a comparable peer group, so we're comfortable in that. And because we've got reality now, before, a year ago, as I said to you, it was more about the size of the land package. Now I've got real value in the ground, and I'm now determining the real cost of getting it out the ground into the final product. That reality means that the off-takers in this world want to talk to me, because now they can see production's coming. And so to finance that capital number, I'm beginning already to get attraction from off-takers who want to guarantee production. That's the first thing. So over and above that, the study will continue, and we will define those numbers in greater detail.
So that's mean the financing out, in a nutshell, this mean the financing out of or for this production comes from offtake agreements.
That's one option, and I think it's becoming a more popular option just because of the demand for lithium and who it is that wants to use it. Do not expect that a BMW or a VW will become a miner. I don't think that's their intention. But nonetheless, they want to be able to guarantee the supply of the product. So they enter into an agreement, maybe perhaps via one of the German banks, for example. If it's a Korean situation, if it's Hyundai or whatever, they will do it in their route. The Japanese, whether it's Honda, etc., will do it their route. And Americans too will do it. We already know the Chinese are doing it. They're ahead of the game. Maybe too early, maybe, I don't know. That's a decision the market will make. But in reality, everyone will follow suit, and so that will be one method of raising the capital. The traditional route is issuing more equity in your company, but you only want to do that when your share price is a value that dilution is less impactful, and we're conscious of that. So we don't intend to be doing that until our valuation is where we think it should be.
Valuation is a good point. At the moment, it's not really looks like that the market pay any attention out of this situation, especially when you supply-demand issues and so on, and also the new demand what coming up with all these vehicles. Then, in general, we must say, and we see this all from the German car manufacturer, that really the volume size of cars are coming out 2020-21, when they really bring out all these new electronic vehicles on the market. Share price, share structure, very important.
We have 162 million shares out there. We have approximately 9.9 million warrants and 7.8 million options in the money. These warrants and options were issued at 55 cents and the options at 40 cents. So right now you could say we have a total market shares out there of 179, but 162 are tradable at this moment in time. The comment you were making earlier regarding, the share structure and the value, you're 100% right that our value right now is depressed. It's been depressed because the market in general has been depressed. You yourself here in Germany will know that you're not selling as many cars as you used to. That tells you that the public at large is feeling anxious about what's happening going forward, whether it's trade wars, whether it's whatever. But like everything, things change. The cycle continues and people get more confident. And that's why the prediction of 2021 for getting lithium out in the marketplace is probably right, because there is a growing demand for electric vehicles. There is a growing demand for electric vehicle batteries, which is lithium-based. My son in Aberdeen couldn't buy an electric vehicle. He's had to go hybrid, which he instead of buying, he's now leased because he knows that at some stage he wants to get an electric vehicle. So 2 years later, if that's when they're here, 2 years is 2020, 2021, then that young man will make sure that he has an electric vehicle. So I'm pretty sure the market's going to come back. I'm pretty sure the appetite's going to come back. And that share structure, which gives us a market cap of about 60 million today, I think our value, and even today when you compare it with our peer group, it's at the lower end. There's plenty of growth in it, but I'm pretty sure that will grow higher. And if I may, just for a second, one of the reasons we're at the share price we're at is we announced in the end of September, I guess, beginning of October, that we would do a rights issue, which was an ability for us to reach out to all our existing shareholders and say, listen, you can buy a right. We wanted to give them the opportunity, because the market was so soft, of averaging their share price down, because the previous financial raise we had done was at $1.10, $1.30. So we deliberately chose 40 cents to make sure the average was right. But of course, as soon as we announced that we're trading at 40%, no surprise, the share price, which is trading at 70, comes down because people see an opportunity. But right now, we've had that bounce. We've come from roughly about 37, which was the low point we hit, and yesterday we're trading at 53 cents. And it's been a gradual increase, which is the way you want it. Sudden jumps make people nervous because it's, it's speculation.
Always spikes are not good.
Correct. So ours has been gradual. And of course, the other side of that particular discussion is that when you're trading at these levels, at the market capitalization we're at, trust me, with the quality of assets we've got, and they're great assets, you will get attention from the typical people who want to pick up assets at low valuation. So we have Bank of Montreal already working with us as a strategic advisor, helping us navigate that, because it's not our intention to look at any sale of the company at valuations that are just not attractive to us and our shareholders. So, but it's there. The activity is there. Make no mistake.
Okay. Ian, thank you for the update. Next time, hopefully, we have time on the PDAX to make it again, and then we see what you're coming up with, which numbers. Ja, also ganz spannend, in den nächsten 2 Wochen wird es extrem spannend. Es kommen mehrere Studien raus zu Ihren Projekten, wo sie dementsprechend um die Größe der Ressource geht, aber auch die erste Wirtschaftlichkeitsrechnung. Und er sagt, da wird sich einiges tun, und bei einem Projekt kommt es wahrscheinlich erst Ende des ersten Quartals, also richtig in der Nähe von der PDAC. Und das ist sowieso das höchstgradigste Gebiet, was sie haben quasi. Und das wird extrem spannend werden. Er hat auch gesagt, die erste Produktion ist möglich um 2020, 2021. Und das passt genau in den Zyklus rein, denn jetzt ist es so, dass natürlich der Markt generell in einer sehr schlechten Verfassung ist, nicht nur der Lithiummarkt, sondern generell. Wir wissen das, der Aktienmarkt ist am Boden, Rohstoffmarkt ist am Boden. Grund sind Befürchtungen von Trade War bis hin alles Mögliche, und das ist natürlich, was den Markt verunsichert. Andererseits ist es so, dass natürlich gerade die Automobilhersteller bei ihren elektronischen Fahrzeugen die Volumensproduktion erst 2020, 2021 anfangen, und dort kommt eigentlich auch die große Nachfrage dann raus, und deswegen passt es eigentlich sehr gut, wenn Sie mit Ihrer Produktion starten. Wie will er dies finanzieren, war natürlich eine ganz wichtige Frage für mich, und er sagt, Sie fangen jetzt schon an mit Abnehmerverträge zu fahren. Das ist eine Möglichkeit, natürlich die traditionelle Möglichkeit über Equity zu finanzieren ist auch da, aber Offtake-Agreements sozusagen zu reden, ob dort dementsprechend auch Interesse ist, und das dann dementsprechend zu finanzieren, also die CapEx aufzunehmen, um die Produktion zu starten. Das wird natürlich immer eine kombinierte Sache sein. Er sagt halt, man sieht in den letzten Monaten, seit unserem letzten Interview, die Transformation. Vorher war es ein großes Landpackage-Deals, wo sie sehr, sehr gute Landpackages gehabt haben. Jetzt kommen die ganzen Rohstoffergebnisse, Ressourcenergebnisse und erste wirtschaftliche Begutachtung davon, und dann ist der nächste Schritt quasi die Produktionsentscheidung und wie das man so finanziert. Und er hat selber gesagt, sein Sohn hätte probiert, ein Elektroauto zu kaufen, kriegt er nicht, deswegen hat er jetzt ein Hybrid nehmen müssen, weil es nicht möglich war, quasi in einem vernünftigen Zeitrahmen ein Elektroauto zu bekommen, weil die Lieferfristen einfach extrem sind. Spannend. Richtig spannend, wir haben sie verabredet für die PDAC, das ist in 4 Monaten schon wieder, und dort wissen wir auch dann die Zahlen, und dann wissen wir auch dementsprechend, wie möglicherweise die nächste Strategie ist. Das war's von LSC Lithium München, November 2018. Tschüss und Baba. Thank you.
Thank you.